everybody, and welcome back to Pain Free Creations, Coaching and Conversations, where we do all three in a short amount of time. I'm Aubrey Payne, and today we are going to continue talking about center management systems. In particular, today we are going to continue the conversation from our last video about a center management system that has worked for me, and that maybe it is an option or an idea that'll work for you. It is centered around student choice. And last time I talked about the management system. So that's like the very beginning of the center system setup. And now I'm going to take it a step further and I'm going to talk about the bin, tub, and drawer organization. So this is flexible for whatever kind of furniture or item that you like to use to organize your centers. So if you are looking for a new idea or a system in your centers that is new and different, maybe you're interested in following the research and allowing students to have a choice, a say, a voice in where, what, and how they learn, then this is the video for you. Let's take a look. Okay, so as we are continuing our conversations with centers and our management system, I talked about the magnets on the whiteboard in our last video and how you would organize that, whether you put students where you want them to go and then their choice lies what's in their bins or in that center area, or if you are ready to take the jump and let go of control and give students the full option to choose where to go and then choose out of the choices you give them at that center what they can do. The options are kind of endless. I know I started baby steps and kind of moved from like a very controlled center where I moved them throughout that time to a center that I had designated, and they could only do a couple things that I had planned for them. There really wasn't a choice in where they could go. There really wasn't a say in what they could do at the center. So now I have moved it to where for reading, I still chose their groups only because for differentiation purposes and making sure that certain people don't clash. But I also switched it up almost, I think maybe once a month, I would switch the groups so that they get a chance to work with others. And then I will get into like the whole behavior management system that I use during the centers in the next video. I want to finish covering the organizational aspect first. So for my kids, I had the whiteboard with the center stations. So then whether they put their number under a center or I chose where their group was going, they then knew to match the label that's on the whiteboard. This is in the beginning of the year before they really have gotten the flow and the procedures and the routines. So this was a visual reinforcement. So they remembered what they were supposed to be doing. They just find the label that is matched to the bin, tub, or drawer, and then they know that that's where they're supposed to work from. So for me, I'll get into how I chose and decided what organizer to use. But today we are going to talk about the bins, tubs, and drawers of the organizational aspect of it all. Okay, so when we are doing our centers, this is, I'm going to kind of talk about so when I first started, I had them, like I said, in groups. And then when I moved to just 1 year, I was reading an article about how student engagement and motivation and their learning is directly tied to the amount of times that they have a voice, choice, and a say in what and how and where they learn. So that kind of drive me to just it was super uncomfortable in the beginning, but just to take that leap of faith and just give it a try, because what is it going to do besides either not work and we just go back, or we try something new, or we continue on and just see what the outcomes are. And this system ended up being more beneficial than I ever thought it could be. And I did it for years with completely different class dynamics, like high behaviors 1 year, 1 year it was a little bit easier, but it is all manageable and is able to happen to any grade as long as you have faith in your students and that they can do it and they will do it no matter what the grade is. So when we, For reading, I always kept the groups and I would move them, but then I would give them a variety of options. And then in math, that was my subject that I really just took that big leap. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do center groups for the students for math. I am going to let it be on full choice. So our district used the program iReady. And so they were required to do 10 minutes every day of iReady reading and 10 minutes every day of iReady math. So that was always where everyone would start their numbers. They would all start it under the iReady magnet. Once they were done and I had seen that they had gotten their 10 minutes for that subject, they could then, so I guess it would be for math, they would take their number and move it under the center station of their choice. My only rule is that there can only be 4 people in every group. So if 4 people get done and they all choose the Osmo Center, that center's closed until someone decides they want to switch to a different center. And that's, in the beginning, there's some sad kids because they didn't get to go to the center they want to, but then they see eventually, like halfway through, that one student leaves and they get a chance. So it's really just practicing, transitioning, moving your number, going to a center. It's okay if it's not the center that you want. There'll be time and a chance for you to get to that center, but for now, pick a different one and move on. And so basically, the students had a choice. The rules were still the same for all of the centers. Your voice is at a level 1 or a 0, and you can quietly switch throughout the block. In the beginning, when I first started with the math one, I made them stay in that center just so that we were working on one skill at a time. Once they mastered staying at whatever center they chose, then I would allow them to move out whenever they felt like they were done, and practice and made sure the transition was smooth with that before we continued on. The most important part of this is mastering transitions and the expectations and procedures for center management. You cannot move on and do small groups until that's mastered. So put as much time and as much effort as you need to get it started. So I am hoping that this video helps you get that confidence and that eagerness to maybe try something new for centers. And I'm going to show you now a resource I created that is a follow-up of my last resource, the magnets that go on the whiteboard. This is now for your bins, tubs, drawers, whatever you choose to use to organize each center station. So let's go ahead and take a look. This is my product for the bins, tubs, and drawer organization. This is the labels. So I have a picture of some examples that we'll continue to go over. Okay. So in this resource, you're going to find this on Teachers Pay Teachers, and we will have the link in the description, in the comments, and I have my store page on my YouTube channel, front page. So in this resource, I provide a PDF copy where you can just print if you like how I worded everything and you use the exact same centers as me. You can print already and not have to change anything. If you're somebody who wants to critique the wording, maybe change a center name, however you wish to have it, then you can, on the second slide, you can click the button that says click here, and it'll take you to a Google slide of the exact same PDF, but you can edit it. So I will show you that at the very end. So this is just talking about what you guys have already heard. So I tried to make it flexible with whatever the teacher wants to use to organize. So this is starting with the 3-drawer bin label. So I have all of the themes that I used in the last resource for the magnets, so that if you use the teal blue theme, you now have the teal blue labels for your bins, and so on. And so in each theme, there are 3 labels for your drawers for each reading and math center station. Okay. So for prep, so let's say that I have my WordWork magnet on the whiteboard, then my bin or drawer label will match that so that visually the students know which one they're supposed to go to. So I then make sure I have directions typed out for each drawer or bin label the way I like it. Once I'm satisfied with how it looks, I'll print the labels and save the document in case I want to make changes later. Because, things change throughout the year. Maybe next year you need either more descriptive directions or, maybe even less. I then laminate and I cut out the labels. And since I'm putting it on an actual piece of furniture, I usually use packing tape, hot glue gun, or rubber cement to glue my labels to my drawers or bins. So how I use them is when students, I kind of already brushed up on this, so I'll make this one a little quick. When they go to their center, they find their matching label to the one that their number is under on the whiteboard. They then follow the directions that are on each label. Eventually, students don't need the written directions out, but it's always nice to review or refer back to if they forget, or if a new student comes. This is something easy for them to catch up with the rest of the class. So how I do it is I have my students stay at the center the entire time. You can have them change throughout if that's how you like to have your centers go. I just like to keep them in one spot and give them just a bunch of things to work on, and then they can go to something different the next day. So totally fine, whichever one you want to do. They both can support student choice. You just will need to make sure, again, like I said, procedures and transitioning, if you're going to have them keep going and switching centers, that there are no interruptions during your small group time. So my favorite way to organize my centers, especially for reading, is to do my 3-drawer organizers. So it's just easy to change out activities. Like I don't have to change my description of what they're supposed to do every time. All I have to do is if I want something in one drawer, I'll put it in there. Let's say the curriculum has us doing a word sort and I want them to practice it. I can throw that into the top drawer with all the stuff that's already in there as another option for them to do. You can easily switch stuff out, and it's easy for them to follow. They know they have to complete an activity in drawer 1 to move down to drawer 2. They have to complete they have to complete an activity in drawer 2, and then they can move down to drawer 3, or then they can complete an activity in drawer 3, and then they can choose any activities from either of the drawers after that. But it just kind of keeps them in an organized system. So, but then for math, I use bins and tubs just because my items are bigger, bulkier, and I really don't have a specific, my centers are organized by theme in math, so it just works out that way. All right. So, and I use Seesaw Class Dojo to have my students, and this is something else that I'll cover in my next video when it comes to the management, accountability, and behavior. I will cover this in more depth, but I use Seesaw Class Dojo for students to turn in their work or take a picture and send it to me to hold them accountable for each activity that they do. You also can do Google Classroom or email, whichever, if you wanted to do it that way to hold your students accountable. You can use those as well for students to send you the work that they did. Okay. All right. So these are some visual examples of what they might look like. So here's what I talked about in the first video, this resource. Then I have my 3-drawer organizers, different shapes, different sizes, whatever. Try to make it to whatever people have in their rooms. So you have drawer 1, drawer 2, drawer 3, and we'll look closer at the labels, but this is just a picture of what an example of what it might look like. So, and it guides the students what they need to do in each one, and the directions stay the same the whole year. Okay, so here's an example. So for word work, it takes up a whole page, but it has where it's at, and then what they need to do in the first drawer: complete one activity from drawer 1, take a picture, post on Class Dojo when done, clean up, and move on to drawer 2. So same thing, it's going to tell them to pretty much do the exact same thing to move to drawer 3. And then word work, bottom drawer, and then it tells them that they can choose any of the activities once they're done. They can choose any of them, and then just to remind them to clean up. So, and I have them in all this. So writing, same thing, 3-drawer organizer for me. I think for writing and word work was really important. It's super helpful. I used to have writing in a tub, and just all the papers and just chaos that was in the tub drove me insane. So having organized and neat things in each drawer helped kind of take the chaos of the writing away. So for writing, complete one activity from drawer 1. When finished, take a picture, same exact directions. I control the different choices in each drawer. So they get to try out different things, and they do have a choice in the activities that they do choose. We cannot go and tell them what they have to do. They can pick what's right for them, especially for writing. That's important because we want them to love writing and not feel like they have to spend their whole time with their pencil staring at a paper because they don't know what to write about. They get to pick. So reading corner, again, you don't have to have a 3-drawer bin or a 3-drawer organizer for this. You can if you want, if you have lots of activities for them to do. I usually just have a bin or a small bin up there with the different activities that they can do with folders if there's a graphic organizer for them to fill out. But again, teach their own, your classroom, your way. So Osmo, we have the reading one. I do, and you can do drawers or bins for this, but reading, math, and then those times where you have indoor recess or free time, I keep all those in one area as well because I don't need them accessing those when I don't need it. Then I have the iPads in my Ready Centers. These are their colors, but I don't really have a bin or anything for them. They just are, as I said. So for math, 3-drawer organizers if you wish, same theme. I tried to keep all the themes together. There's your teal blue, and then your pink, and then your different colors of green. Same things. And then your black, white, and gray for reading and math. Then if you liked the rectangular ones, exact same things, just in rectangular form, purple, pink, and then rainbow. And then I have the single bin. So if you don't want to do 3-drawer organizers for everything or at all, then I have one label for your bin, your tub, your basket, your folder, whatever it is that you use to organize your centers. So same thing that they're organized by theme, and this is the one single label for each station. So for math, I usually use bins or tubs, but 3-drawer organizers can be used as well. If I use one single bin or tub, I usually have the materials organized inside folders, Ziploc bags, smaller tubs, if it might already come in a box. So just to keep everything organized. So here's an example of the single labels for the different kinds of organizers that you might have in your room or for the center. Okay, so then rainbow-wise, here are the labels you print out, laminate, cut. So you have word work. It has the description here, work on activities in the word work bin, tab until center time is over. Make sure to clean up all your activities neatly and in the proper place. So they have the instructions for each one. And then we have the themes, again, the theme colors. So I'm not going to bore you with going super slow and going over each theme color because this is something that you can also look at if you click the link on Teachers Pay Teachers. So that is it for the labels. I will go up and just show you the Google slide real quick. Let me exit out. Maybe that'll be better. Okay, so it says click here. All I gotta do is click. Maybe not. All right, so it says to click here. Open in Safari. So now when I do, here it is. And then my first slide will tell you that this is a view only slide. So you cannot edit it. You have to make a copy. or then everyone will be editing the same document. So you go to File, select Make a Copy, select Entire Presentation, and then go through the slides and customize as you wish and print the ones that you customize. So same thing, except I always provide my YouTube video on here for people who might not have seen the video but would like kind of some guidance. Same things I had in my PDF, but then this time now I left my title labels here, but then you can write your own description if you wanted to keep the same centers as I did. Then I also have where you can add your own clip art and your own title and your own description, but the same color label. So you have some different options of how you might customize and edit each one. So I have that for all of them again. So, and then I also added a slide at the end of some extra clip art. If you don't really want to put the effort to look for clip art and you don't like my clip art, you can literally just copy and paste any of these and put it in your labels. So I tried to give you guys some options, make it as easy as possible for you so that you can really try to utilize the student choice center idea. So I hope this video was helpful. If you have questions on how I do it or about student choice in general, or any questions, comments, thoughts, ideas, please share them in the comments. I am eager to respond and help any of you that want to try it out. Also, check out my next video because that one will be on the behavior management aspect. And then also another video coming up will be what center activities I actually put in my bins, drawers, and tubs to give my students a lot of options of what to do and keep them busy the whole time. So check out the rest of my channel, and I hope to see you back to see my next videos coming up. Thanks for watching.